we don't do cybersecurity. That's for people that's not creative. That's for people that is not really trying to do anything outside of the corporate world. I tried to explain it to this girl. I was like, yo, we talking about all of the stuff that's in the tech accelerator, breaking it down for her, chopping it down. I'm hitting her with the chop it down, you know what I mean? I chopped it down for her, explained it to her in lamest terms. I explained it to her in Google Gaga language. Very easy to understand. Then Shorty comes up with like, yo, you guys don't teach cybersecurity? And I'm like, yo, didn't you go through the free training, ma? After we done did like a half an hour conversation talking about web development and, the benefits that you get and all of this stuff. He's like, no, but I kind of went through it. And I'm like, the video is 11 minutes. It's a free training. You could watch it anytime. It's 11 minutes. It breaks dodown what we do. He's like, yeah, but I got a little antsy. I just went in and signed up. And I was like, all right, this is where you up at. So I'm like, I was like, yo, this is where you at. And I was like, yo, we don't do cybersecurity. That's boring. That's for people that's not creative. That's for people that is not really trying to do anything outside of the corporate world. And she's like, yeah, but someone told me about cybersecurity. I'm like, listen, this is not what we do. And I told her straight out, we don't do cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is boring. Cybersecurity is for people that's just going to stay in the corporate ladder, right? You're always going to need a company to come in and give you a job. You're always going to have to get certifications. And if that's something that you want to go on, you could go on.
All right. So your man's is saying that cybersecurity is boring. We agree on that. It can be boring. Like I say, I don't know of too many people that wake up in the morning and cybersecurity is what gets their blood flowing. I just don't know of anybody. If they are like that, they haven't expressed it to me. Or if you do find somebody that wakes up like that, they get this high off of going to work and doing some cybersecurity stuff, I can almost promise you that this is a person that doesn't really have a social life. They ain't got no man, they ain't got no woman, they ain't out there slapping skins, shaking sheets. They're just not out there just doing things. Now, I'm not saying that that's good. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just telling you, I just don't know of anybody that gets overly excited about it outside of the income earning potential that you can make by doing it. Because here's the thing, when it comes to working a job or a career, you don't have to be in love with what you do in order to be good at it and try to maximize your earning potential. I think a lot of people seem to get that confused. Like, whatever you do, if you find somebody that's doing a job and they're making a lot of money, I guess some people seem to think that these people are passionate about their job. That's not necessarily true. It just might mean that they're good at it to where they could command X amount of money for their salary, but that doesn't mean that they're in love with it. Like me, I'm not really in love with IT like that. If I had it my way, if I was able to go out there and make a bunch of money doing something that I love, I would be a photographer. I love photography, but unfortunately, I never figured out how to make a bunch of money with it. So in the meanwhile, guess what? I figured out how to make some money with IT working in tech. And this pays the bills, this keeps the lifestyle flowing, and all the other things I got to do with my wife and my children. That funds all that. So what I'm saying is, don't think that just because people make a lot of money doing something that they're passionate about it. No, they just discover I'm good at this. This can pay the bills to support my lifestyle, but that's it. I'm just going to do this because it makes me a lot of money. Now, he also said something about, let me see, what else he say? Hold on.
This is not what we do. And I told her straight out, we don't do cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is boring. Cybersecurity is for people that's just going to stay in the corporate ladder, right? You're always.
So he's saying that cybersecurity is for people who are going to stay in the corporate ladder. Those who want to climb up, rise through the ranks, become management, become an executive level person or something like that. That's true. And that's not true. I mean, you have people that work in IT that have no real ambitions, or cybersecurity that have no real ambitions of becoming some type of executive, or even going to a management position. Matter of fact, I got my youngest brother is like that. My youngest brother, he switched jobs recently, but I know when he was at his old job working in cybersecurity, like I say, he makes well over 100 racks. To my knowledge, he wasn't in a management position. And to my knowledge, he has no real desire to go to a management position, because for him, he was like, well, if I go back to college, get a degree, or I go get me like a PMP, project management certification or something like that, to where I can move up. He's like, that might only bump my income up like $20,000-$30,000. But he's like, shoot, I'm already making this without a college degree and just whatever skill sets and certifications that I have. It's like, I'm good. So everybody doesn't necessarily have a desire to move up the corporate ladder that works in IT and cybersecurity. Now, there are those that do. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. And the reason why I'm saying this because I think in this video, this guy right here is preaching more so of people developing an entrepreneurial mindset. And I think he's going to say that in his dialogue about how he uses his particular skill sets in IT. Obviously, I think he's a coder. And he says in this video that he's managed to take those skill sets and create businesses of his own that generates him hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even more, based off of what he says in this video. Now, look, I'm not opposed to everybody being an entrepreneur. I'm not opposed to entrepreneurship. I should put it that way. But I also understand that everybody isn't an entrepreneur. I'm a halfway entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? I'm an employee and I got a side business going on over here. I haven't fully just jumped all the way into being a full-blown entrepreneur. The reason why is because everybody has this glorified fantasy about what an entrepreneur is. I got a video that I uploaded. It'll probably be posted in a couple of days where I was actually talking to one of my training students that's going through one of my courses. And we actually had these conversations about entrepreneurs. And one of the reasons he stated that I guess he has admiration for entrepreneurs is because they get to control their own schedule, right? People look at entrepreneurs, I'm the boss. I get to make my own schedule and do this, do that, and the third. But the reality is when you're an entrepreneur starting your own business, because you got to remember most businesses are small business owners. Just because you're the boss, that doesn't mean that you can just automatically take time off and do what you want to do. Most so-called entrepreneurs who do it full time, they work longer and harder hours than employees. Then also a lot of entrepreneurs in America, they don't make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like people who own small businesses, mom and pop shops and things of that nature, a lot of them only make about maybe $50,000, $60,000 a year after it's all said and done when it's time for them to pay themselves. Everybody is not Mark Zuckerberg. Everybody is not Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, or whatever, P. Diddy or Dame Dash or whoever you can that's rich and famous that you can plug into that equation. Most business owners are small business owners that nobody has ever heard of outside of wherever they do business from. And most of them probably make on average about $50,000, $60,000 a year. You have a lot of employees that work in tech that make way more money than entrepreneurs. Now, once again, that's not to say that you shouldn't consider being one, because with entrepreneurship, obviously you're the boss, you own this thing, but you're also 100% responsible for whether or not this thing succeeds or fails, which means you can't really take time off. You got to go out there and do whatever you got to do to generate some sales, or else you're going to be out there on the streets doing the moonwalk asking people for money. That's what's going to happen. As opposed to you being an employee, you could be a low-paid employee, so-called mid-pay employee, or a high-paid employee, or whatever the case may be. Let's just talk about those of us who make $100,000 plus or whatever. A person working in cybersecurity who makes over $100,000, a lot of them make more money than those who are business owners. That's just the way it is. Even though they're employees and they got to derive their paycheck from somebody else, oftentimes their paychecks are still bigger than those who own their own business. There are pros and cons. I'm not opposed to either way. I'm actually in favor of you doing both like I do. I work and I have my own little side business going on.